Welcome back, everyone. As usual, we are two dudes talking 80s. I'm John. That's my partner in crime, Lewis.
Hello.
The King, even more animated. I feel like
There you
he's
go.
blowing a kiss at the end of, like, what was it, Family Feud or something? Um, May was, no, the dating game. That was it.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
yes. Oh,
that's
God,
what
what
I
was the
thought you were about
host?
to do.
Oh, what was the name of that host?
Wink Martindale, was that it or no?
I know, I want to say it was something else.
All right. Well, anyway, we don't remember. We're old. So today we're going to talk about, music, going back to some of our, music roots. And we're going to talk about our favorite forgotten 80s albums. And, you can interpret forgotten in a lot of ways. It could be something that you don't hear very often today that was very popular in the 80s. You could think about it as a album that came out that had like the one hit song that's played to death. You never hear anything else from it, or even something from the 80s that wasn't really popular at all but should have been. And so we're going to talk about some of those. So Lewis, why don't we just get right to it? What are you rocking today? Sammy Hagar. All right.
Wearing my Sammy Hagar shirt that I've had since I was 14 years old.
And it still fits. That's amazing.
It's debatable whether it fits, but
It's okay. Why don't you lead us off with something that maybe is Sammy Hagar?
all right. I actually do have Sammy Hagar in the pile here. I was debating as to whether or not, let me try and get the glare off, that this was considered a lost album, but CD, whatever you want to call it. But whether it is or not, it's chock full of awesome songs. The song Heavy Metal is on here.
Which
And
Sammy Hagar album is that? Is that Three Lock Box?
no, this is the first one. This is Standing Hampton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is probably his best one in my opinion. Amazing stuff on here. It's got a cover of Janis Joplin's Take a Piece of My Heart, and just a lot of really good music on here. So again, the one that it's really known for is Heavy Metal, and I think I'll Fall in Love Again was another one of the big hits. But the whole CD is really, really good. So if you're into that kind of music, definitely give it a listen.
Yeah, and I think the song Heavy Metal was more well known for the soundtrack of Heavy Metal than it was for that album, but that's a good one. I haven't heard that one probably in a while. I'm gonna start off with something that probably most people hadn't heard, and they should have. Hitman.
Nice.
This came out, what year did it come out? I don't know. 1988. Hitman was a band from New York, a five-piece band, probably one of the best singers I've ever heard, metal, and Dirk Kennedy. And this was their debut album. And we talked last time about the tape trading and stuff. I remember reading in, I think it was Metal Forces, about this band, and I remember reading the article. I'm like, that sounds like the kind of band I'd be interested in. And I immediately bought the vinyl. I remember going to, I think it was Rainbow Records. They were selling all these cassette tapes for $1 and a bunch of copies of it. I'm like, well, if my stereo eats it, I'll buy a few for $1. Why not? So I had a bunch, and then they re-released that recently. One of my all-time favorite albums, and great band. If you like Queensryche, that kind of stuff, the classier heavy metal stuff, that's right up your alley. They're maybe a little simpler than Queensryche, but still really, really good. They're one of those bands I had always wanted to see, and they were from New York, and they never came out to the West Coast. So a few years back, they actually were performing in New York before they went to Greece. This was like in 2019. They're going to perform a warm-up show in Brooklyn, and then go across the continent and go to Greece and perform a show or two in Greece. And I'm like, screw it. I probably will never get a chance to see these guys. And I flew all the way to New York. I'd never been to New York, and I was at their show, and it was absolutely amazing. They still have it, and they actually they released a new album called Destroy All Humans. We could only hope. And it's still great stuff, and one of my favorite bands, and something you guys should definitely check out.
Awesome. That's one I haven't listened to. I remember us listening to it in your Mustang way back in the day, and me enjoying it. When you say it's been re-released, is it like a new mix of it, or what's different about it?
I think they kind of remixed it a little bit. It hadn't been in print, so you know it was something you couldn't get, and then they added their demo tape to it.
Oh,
And I
nice.
had always gotten their demo like third, fourth, fifth generation copies, so it was really nice to have their demo that kind of started it all. Yeah, so great release, and you know, great band. Should have been huge, but you know, wasn't to be for whatever reason.
I'll definitely have to give them a listen. All right, I'm gonna go with my buddy Nick Kershaw. Wouldn't it be good? I love this song. I can't explain to you why I love this song, but it's one of my favorite 80s songs ever. And so I picked up the CD, not for 1995 is what it says there. I think I got it for like $2 or $3 on eBay. But I was surprised that the rest of the CD is also very, very good. I've given it a listen a few times, and it's got some really catchy stuff on there. And I'd read that. So if you like Nick Kershaw, if you like Wouldn't It Be Good, definitely pick up that CD. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Give the whole thing a listen. There's a lot of good stuff in there to listen to.
That is one of those songs that I don't remember. Even wouldn't it be good? I don't remember too much in the '80s. I think I got into it when we started going to the clubs in the '90s when they were doing the retro '80s nights, and started hearing it for the first time really there. And I too fell in love with that song. Haven't heard the album, but definitely think I would enjoy it if you're saying it's worthy.
It is. It's very, very good.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go. You know, Forgotten Album is kind of an open interpretation, like you and I discussed. This album is sadly known for one song, really, and one song only. And in my opinion, it's the worst song on the album. It also the whole album is fantastic, and I don't remember which came first, the show or the band, but I'll go with Living Color, Vivid.
Good call.
And like this is such a great album. You know, like I said, you hear Cult of Personality a ton. I don't think it's even one of the best songs. You know, Open Letter to a Landlord is probably my favorite on the album. Broken Hearts is a great song. What else is on here? You know, Desperate People, Glamour Boys, Funny Vibes, Memories Can't Wait. Yeah, it's a great album. I don't think they ever did anything that came close to this. Sadly, I've never seen these guys. We were actually going to go see them perform at the Stone on this tour, and we arrived at the Stone. We were ready to go, and there was a sign on the door that said they had canceled the show. I guess one of the members had had a death in the family, sadly, and the show never went off, and I never was able to see them. But still, I can listen to this any day of the week. This is a fantastic album, and I wish it was known for more than just one song because, like I said, that's in my opinion one of the worst songs on the album.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I like that CD as well. It's a lot of good stuff. I was never able to get into the guitar player solos for some reason. Just they
Vernon Reid.
it was that who it was, and apparently he's a very talented guitar player. He like left and has done like some jazz project, the jazz projects and whatnot. But I on and within Living Color, and I just never did anything for me. But the songwriting, the music is very, very good.
I would agree. I thought he was a good guitar player. I thought he was kind of overrated. And I remember somebody telling me that they thought I sounded like him, and I was kind of like insulted a little bit. Sorry, Vernon. You're much better than I am anyway. But yeah, something about his, you know, playing never really appealed to me. I thought the solos fit the songs, but they're a little chaotic. And you know, just wasn't my taste, but phenomenal songwriter, fantastic band.
Awesome. Again, good pick. Speaking of really good guitar players, this one I was saving towards the end, but I'm going to bring him up now. Uh, if you're into prog metal at all, there was a gentleman by the name of Yngwie Malmsteen that came off and started the whole neoclassical thing. This guy came out after Yngwie, and this CD to me is a masterpiece. Vinnie Moore's Mind's Eye. And Vinnie Moore's got that same sort of style that Yngwie's got, a lot of the arpeggios and stuff, but different. And the thing that's amazing about this CD, or one of the things, is that Tony McAlpine plays keyboards on it. And just the two of them are just off the hook. Just, I love this CD, like front to back. I love everything about this CD.
I actually saw Vinnie Moore perform with UFO because
Wow.
he was with UFO. I think he still is. I don't know if they've officially retired yet, but it was their retirement tour. And yeah, he's fantastic. You mentioned Tony McAlpine. I actually met him at an in-store at Geld Music.
Nice.
And, you know, that is a great one. Tony McAlpine has one of his, I forget which one, and the name's drawn a blank for me, is another great one. But yeah, I have that and it's excellent. You're right.
I think Street Ready is the one. No, no,
Racer
that's
X.
that, is it? Or is that
Yeah.
Leather Wolf?
Oh, Street Ready. Yeah.
Yeah.
Leather Wolf.
Is it Maximum Overdrive? That's one of McAlpin's. I can't remember if that's the first one, because this first one was also very good.
I think it was Maximum Overdrive.
That might have been a second one.
No, I don't think that was the name of either of them. We'll figure it out. That's okay. You're old. Maximum Overdrive was the name of the Stephen King novel and movie.
I'm pretty sure that, oh, I don't want to patch. Please don't do
Yeah,
this now.
don't do it now. You're wrong. So anyway, moving on. This is kind of out of character for me because most of the stuff I like is hard rock, heavy metal, and that's what I listen to. But my God, this album is great. I listened to it quite a bit. I haven't given it a listen in a while. I need to. And again, it was known back then for one song. And even now, you don't even hear that song. And yeah, Martika.
Nice. Toy
Um,
Soldier.
Toy Soldier. This whole album is great. It's one of those rare albums where like you don't have to skip a track or whatever. Everything on here was really good. Love the CD. And kind of a funny thing is, people that don't know, Lewis and I worked together in 1989 in Foster City, and we were working the day of the earthquake in 1989. And Lewis had gone to his car and came back even whiter than he is now because the earthquake hit. I remember we had outside sales reps from all over the United States, and I'm laughing, going, they're not used to earthquakes, wimps. And then it didn't stop. And to this day, I don't know how I did it, but I did this dive over some boxes underneath the desk. How I did that, I don't know. And I remember getting in my car to check on, go check on my parents, make sure they were okay. And I had left my cassette in the car, and it was Martika. And of course, it had to be I Feel the Earth Move. True story. Yes, it's a cover of the Carole King song. And I'm like, really? I had to leave it on that song right now? And yes, I listened to I Feel the Earth Move by Martika while I was going to my parents' house after the earthquake to make sure they were okay. So, a little background. Great album.
Great story. I really like that song, Toy Soldier. There's something very distinctive about her voice. And if you're saying that the rest of the CD is good, I'm going to have to go pick it up.
I think Toy Soldier, again, it's like Living Color. I think Toy Soldier is probably one of the weakest tracks on there. There's so much good stuff on there. And I guess she just, got burnt out. She had been a very young performer. And, shortly after that, I think she released a second album, and then she was done. She's like, I'm over this.
Wow.
And, it's kind of a shame, but, we still have the first album to listen to. The second one, yeah, it was okay, but first one's fantastic.
All right. I'll go ahead and pick that up. All right, this next one is from one of my all-time favorite bands. They were more popular. Well, they were very popular in the 70s, broke up, and they made a resurgence in the 80s. And this was their comeback album, Deep Purple, Perfect Strangers. If you're a Deep Purple fan in the 80s or not, I mean, it's just a really great album. The song Perfect Strangers was pretty big. Knocking at Your Back Door was pretty big on the rock stations. All of this stuff though, all of the stuff on this CD is just top notch. Again, this is one of the CDs I can listen, front to back and not ever forward through a song. Very, very good stuff in there. It was a very good comeback album for them, putting back on the map. And that's when I really started getting into them, was in the 80s, and then sort of discovering what they had done in the 70s after that.
Very cool. I don't remember if I saw them in the 80s. I think there was a show that I saw where they weren't even the headliner at the Warfield. I'm drawing a blank on who was.
Oh, wow.
But I could have sworn I saw him at the Warfield. But yeah, that was in the 80s that I remember. And gosh, you know, it was funny early on going to all these concerts. I was like, I should write down all the concerts I go to just to keep a list, and never did. And I regret, because there's so much stuff like, did I see them? When did I see them? You know, that kind of thing. Who was on that bill? But yeah, I think I did see them at one point, and I don't think they were headlining though. I forgot who it was with, but I want to say it was at the Warfield.
Did they still have Blackmore with them?
No, it was Steve Morse.
Okay, all right.
So it must have been early 90s.
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah, I saw them once and with their House of Blue Light tour at the Shoreline, and it was still their I think Mark II lineup, so it still had Blackmore in it. Good stuff.
Yeah, they've had quite a few singers, and I think Steve Morse has been with the band now longer than Blackmore ever was. So
Yes, very true.
I'm gonna go with another album that probably most people never heard, never listened to, and they should, and it's fantastic. And it's a heavy metal band out of Seattle, a little bit on the thrashier side, and this is Sanctuary, Into the Mirror Black. And again, every song on here was fantastic. They would used to get a little bit of play on Headbangers Ball, if you remember that, on MTV, for the song Future Tense. But again, it's just a great, great album. Every song is great. World Dane is phenomenal. Sadly, he passed away a few years back. Um, you know, and then I remember going to Record Exchange, and they had something like this, but it looked different. I was like, that's really strange. And they used, records or CDs. And I looked at it, and it said Into the Mirror Black Live Reflections. I'm like, what the heck is this? And it was a CD that had Future Tense, and then it had 4 live cuts, 2 from this album and 2 from their first one. And I picked that up, and I didn't find out till later on. They finally re-released it a few years back, but I didn't know how rare it was. And we went, the next band, Sanctuary, kind of morphed into Nevermore, and then when Nevermore split up, they reunited as Sanctuary. And the bassist, guitarist, and singer from Sanctuary at the end turned into Nevermore. And we were standing outside, and we were talking to the bass player, Jim Shepard, and I was talking to him, and I was telling him how I had that, and he's like, you have that? I don't even have that. And
Wow.
like, yeah, well, I'm not selling it, so too bad. But yeah, it was kind of crazy how rare it was, and just by luck, I found it one time, and again, amazing band. One of my favorites. I saw them several times as Nevermore. I saw them a few times as Sanctuary as well when they reformed, and phenomenal band. Great
Excellent.
album. Every song is fantastic, top notch.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard anything from Sanctuary.
They're a little on the thrashier side, but the guy, World Dane could sing his ass off, and he kind of sounded a little kind of like Jeff Tate, but like if Jeff Tate was completely psychotic, is probably the best way to describe his vocals. A lot of heavy riffing, but catchy stuff. They had some really cool choruses, great musicianship, excellent band.
Cool. Very cool. All right. Let's see. I'm going to go with my last one. This band became famous. It wasn't really because of the CD. This, I believe, was their first CD. These are Bay Area boys, actually. And again, this is one of those CDs that I can listen all the way through. Night Rangers Dawn Patrol. And I love this CD. When it came out, I loved Don't Tell Me You Love Me. I thought that was an awesome song, and that's the reason I bought this. And listen to it, and there's a lot of really good stuff on here. Eddie's Coming Out Tonight, and just a lot of really cool other tunes that you don't hear a lot of on the radio.
That's a great pick. Phenomenal guitar playing. Jeff Watson, great player. Another band I hadn't seen till later on, but always was a fan of Night Ranger, which is interesting because that's going to lead me to my last pick, and it's not here, but I thought I grabbed it. I guess I didn't. So my last pick, amazingly enough, was Night Ranger. Life. So I don't know what happened. All their albums did well, and Big Life did nothing. It probably was best known for Secret of My Success from the soundtrack album of the Michael J. Fox film of the same name. But that soundtrack had already come out by the time they had released Big Life, and it seemed like they just kind of threw it on there. And it kind of, already lived out its life, I think, as a single. And I don't remember seeing a video for any other song on that album. I don't remember hearing any song on the radio. I've seen them perform. I've never heard them play anything other than The Secret of My Success from that album. And it's a shame because it's fantastic. From start to finish, again, every song on there is great. Secret of My Success is probably one of my least favorite tracks on there. Big Life, The Color of Your Smile, those songs are just amazing. And I don't know why, but while all the other albums were going gold, and I'm assuming some of them went platinum, that one probably went saran wrap. So not very very popular, and it should have been. It's fantastic.
Wow, yeah, I remember hearing the title of that CD, and I definitely remember the song that you're making reference to. I don't know of anything else on it.
It's great. You should definitely check it out. And it's actually sitting in my car because I still have a CD player in my car. I thought I had grabbed it, and I had some extra choices here just in case you picked the same one. But shockingly, you didn't choose Martika. Who would have thunk? And I have a lot more that I could go on to. So I apologize, John Norum, Queensryche. I have some more, so I'd like to do this one again. But
I thought about Queensryche, and I've got maybe one more here that I didn't go through, but
well, we'll have to do this again.
yep.
Sometime in the future. I think that's it. Is there anything else you want to add to any of the albums we talked about today, or?
Nope.
I noticed something new in the background by your drums.
Yes, this is another program for Wham. And there you go, ladies and guys.
Yeah. How come the pages were sticking together, Lewis? What are you doing?
I got it like that, John.
Sure you did. All right. Hey, you know what?
What?
I think we made it through the whole episode without saying iconic.
Yes, that's very true.
I just blew it.
Of course, I think we also need to have an episode where you drink every time we say amazing.
I don't know. We make a lot of alcoholics out of that. Amazing or iconic, yeah, they'd be alcoholics.
Or phenomenal. That one comes up a lot too.
Very very limited vocabulary. What do you expect? San Mateo School District. What are you gonna do? That's the best you got. All right, brother man, go ahead and take us out if you would be so kind.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Peace out.
Thank you, guys.